Well, hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Winning Ways, where we've got a hell of a program today, Lef. Gee, we've got it all filled up.
We've got a full show, and it's good that Michael de Kock is starting to run some big horses now, getting towards the big day, the World Cup night, and wonderful to hear that the Horse of the Year is going to run this week.
Well, we'll hear all about that, and we've got in your call one of the most interesting guys you'll ever hear on television. He's a racing aficionado, is what I'd call him, Craig Peters. He calls the races from up in the commentary box, and he's been doing it for a very, very long time. And Lef's going to be chatting to him about his life and times as a racing commentator. Very interesting in your call. But let's go straight into our three to follow. Well, there you go. Remember, the end of April is the big day for the TBA National Yearling Sales, and my goodness, the way bloodstock's selling worldwide, you're going to have to put your hands in your pockets to go and get the good stuff there.
Looks like a wonderful sale. You know, they've got some really good stallions. All the major studs are represented. 27th, 28th of April. Put that date down.
Right, let's go and have a look at the three to follow, and we go to the first one, Turfentine, 8th of February. This horse ran fourth, and I think with a little help from the saddle, it might.
I think with Diddy third.
Diddy third. Looked like it was very close for the two of them. But he's worth having a very good look at. They backed this horse from 5 to 1 to 15 to 20. Let's go and have a look at Dollar Dazzler.
Yeah, this is a VAR from the Alec Laird stable. He's got young Colin Tabana. You can see him 4 off the right. He's ready to roll. He's a robust horse. And Colin manages to get him in because they're going around this bend. It's the first run of his life. And greenness, the head-on shows how green he is. But, James, he looks a nice top.
Very, very nice horse indeed. And you'll see him in the straight. He looks like he's going to win all the way down the straight. He just looks like he's got to have them beat. And he just doesn't get his act together. And I think that next time you'll probably find he'll dawdle in.
Yeah, you know, this is a lot of support, James, from the Alec Laird, who was second off the right now, the black and white cap. And shortened to 15 to 20 from 5 to 1. Everyone was talking about this horse winning. And Colin produces him, young Colin Tabana, in the red sleeves. And just astride or two, you look at it and you think, well, he's picking it up. And just here I thought he was going to go on and win it because he shakes off the horse on his inside. And it looks like he's going to win it there, James.
I think he lugs in here and just, you know, it's very difficult with Appy's first timers. You know, horse is learning and the guy's still learning how to ride. And, you know, I think you'll probably find, having come on from this run, he will definitely win next time. He's a very, very nice horse.
Yeah, Dollar Dazzler. Remember the name? He'll win soon.
Okay, we're going to go and have a look at the next one we've got, and that's Wednesday, the 5th of February. We go to Kenilworth, and interesting to watch Kenilworth racing now. They split into two groups down the straight.
It makes it very difficult when they come for the stretch run. Even some of the races around the bend, horses are lugging to the outside and putting runs out deep. It's hard for the cameraman to keep up, never mind the punters.
But isn't it fantastic that horses have got a chance from everywhere they're drawn now? You know, much better than seeing them all go across to the outside and then you get traffic problems. We picked up lots of winners like that.
Yeah, I agree with you, James. It's good to see horses get using the whole of the track. And this horse here is an imported horse, having its second run. Major improvement, and I think this horse is going to go in very soon.
Let's go and pick up a Black Banker. It's Australian bred son of Taylor the Cat. This is Kenilworth, and they've got to go 1,200 metres right down the inside. And we'll get it up now. There he is.
Yeah, he decides correctly, the jockey, to go down the inside because the winner and the runner-up, our horse Black Banker, Bold Pixel and Black Banker, finish the inside group. The head-on shows you the split as jockeys are electing to stick to their stations. But you'll see this horse,
he's at the back of the inside
pack, which makes it all the more interesting. He's in Fred Crabbe's colours, and sitting back, you'll see when they do the side-on, he's at the back, and he quickens up to win. I think he's still learning. He starts going past horses down the inside here.
Yeah, he's actually a nice horse, and the way he's bred, I think he'll go on and win some races, this horse. He certainly quickens up very, very well. He goes on to win the race, and the horses on the outside look like they're very close and in with a shot, but at the end of the day, the two on the inside end up winning it.
That's
there
right.
he goes. There he goes to the front.
He
now.
looks a winner here. Only second run of his life. He's come through. He's run from last, but there's a rallying move by the winner, which is Bold Pixel for Greg Enion and young Mr. Puller. So it's a very good finish. He's head down. He's trying all the way at the line, but the other horse has got his number. This is improving very quickly, Black Banker.
Yeah, we're going to move on, and we're going to have a look at Clearwood, Sunday the 9th of February, and you know, the Mike de Kock stable is full of classy horses, and this was rumoured to be able to run, but when I looked at the pedigree, by Dynasty out of a very start mare, this horse, I think he's out of a Grosvenor mare.
I think you're right, yeah.
I thought 6 furlongs, even 6 furlongs.
I think the
at
Tail of
Clearwood.
the Cat was out of the Grosvenor mare.
Yeah, and this horse, I think,
this horse as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. But he's a very, very well-bred horse, Bolt of Light, and I think he won't take long in winning his maiden. The race was won by a horse we picked up last time, Lucky Break. We said this will win next time, and he certainly did. Started 2-1, but this horse, Bolt of Light, on its first run, shouldn't be long in finding the winner's enclosure.
Yeah, this is the smart debut. It's in the famous Silk, so you can see it here. We've highlighted it. It walks out the gate. Andy Delpech isn't going to punish the horse. He allows it to find its feet. It's 4-5 off the right in the black cap. The eventual winner is sort of ahead of it, and that's in Mary Liley's colours with a green cap, and that's Lucky Break. That's cruising towards the outside now, going well, and the horse we've found probably is about 4-5 behind him.
Yeah, the horse that ran second is in the red cap. That's in second place now. The other Easter colours, the second set of Easter colours, that's Glass Tiger. But when you see how far Bolt of Light is behind them now, you realise what a good run this is. He's 5 lengths behind them and looking for room.
Absolutely. The winner's gone, as you can see, is going very, very well. Glass Tiger, named after the Canadian rock group, is trying hard. And he's just looking to angle this horse out and get a run. And Glass Tiger moves it in a bit, so it's taken off a true course. Glass Tiger has been running around quite a bit. The rider on Glass Tiger, Sean Cormack, changes his stick correctly to get after the winner who's gone. But this is a nice debut when you consider there were 5 lengths between them a furlong and a half ago.
Yeah, I think this horse might be quite a nice horse over a bit of ground. I looked at him in the parade ring. He's a big, strong, dark brown horse and really got a lot of quality about him. I really liked him in the parade ring, but the rumour was out that he could run, but maybe need a bit further, and I think that's where we've got to follow him. We're going to move on and have a look at Blast from the Past, and we've just got a very short interview, a bit different from what we normally have. We're just going to have a quick look at the old champion, Sadler's Wells.
It's a fitting end to his covering period, anyway, our covering areas, yeah. So, like I say, he's left a wonderful legacy around here, and we're proud to have them. We have Galileo, who's his super son, and is taking over admirably now at the moment. Well, I can't say that we look forward to seeing him having a Guineas winner tomorrow, but we'll watch with bated breath.
Just a quick look at Sadler's Wells, and what a horse, what a stallion.
What a wonderful influence. And there's, I think, Elichi's out of a Sadler's Wells mare that runs for Michael de Kock here. And the influence, guys, you can talk all day about the influence of Sadler's
Mary
Wells.
Slack's got one that won about 8 in a row out of a Sadler's Wells mare.
Oh, that was, yes, I think I know the horse.
Big strapping filly. She didn't look much when she won her maiden, but she got better and better. Okay. But he has just been a phenomenal influence. And just when we were looking through stuff to find this clip.
See what he looks like now, what he's let down into, James.
Well, he's gone. He's
well, I mean, what he let down to.
That was at the end. He just, you just get these legacies in the horse racing industry, and as stallions, they start a whole dynasty,
Yeah, that's right.
Coolmore, This was like one of the beginnings of their dynasty.
Yeah, this ran, Sadderswell's ran in, what's his name, the white, blue, and the colours, Robert Sangster.
Yeah.
It was a Robert Sangster horse. And as you say, that's where the dynasty was started. What a horse.
Right, we're going to go and have a look at the plum of the week.
Also starting to quicken up, and so too Divine Grace. It's Negev out in front, Euphoria's on the outside, and then Love Vivian. Euphoria is coming home strongly at Negev. Love Vivian the inside. Negev, Euphoria's on the stand side. Euphoria has got to the front. Euphoria from Negev. Euphoria beat Negev. Love Vivian then came Fortitude, Divine Grace. Further back in the field, tomorrow's Miss Philly.
Well, why we put Euphoria up is if you watched the show, Laf, a couple of weeks ago, we pulled this filly out. She never got a run on the inside. She didn't look like she got the greatest help from the saddle. We said next time this runs, back it. 11-2 you could have got on Interbet for this filly. She started at 4-1. There was 4-1 as much as you liked. And that's why we try and do this show, to try and help the punters find a horse like this. And I keep a record of all the horses we pick as horses to follow. And I thought this was in absolutely the right race. I was amazed at the price.
Absolutely.
And a good winner.
Good winner, good ride.
Good ride. We're going to move on from the Interbet Plum of the Week and go and have a look at current affairs.
Right, current affairs. There's always something interesting happening every week. And we had 2 Group 3s run up in the Haarveld, which we'll show you the races in a moment. But there are a lot of sales coming along, James, especially this week, minor sales and people trying to move their stock.
Yeah, well, we start next week with Mickey Gossa's Ready to Run graduates. Maybe we can have a look there. It's next Tuesday. Put this in your diary. Next Tuesday we'll get a...
There we go.
And so on the front cover is the champion from last year, No Worries.
No Worries. He's been a very, very good horse, and he's running great company. Don't forget, that's on Tuesday, the 18th. Then 2 days later, on the 14th, is the Shongweni Horses and Training Sale. Michael Holmes' sale. And there we are. We can see the catalogue.
20th of February?
20th of February. Always up at Shongweni. It's been a popular sale. People from all around the country come down to that sale. And while we're talking about that, James,
let's just the Michael Holmes sale cover. You see, those are all Michael Holmes graduates on the front of the cover. Everyone always puts their graduates on the front of the cover. They're finishing a dead heat for first 4 of them.
Always coming out the gates.
Yeah.
Just another thing that comes up this weekend, and we must mention it, is the Magnum Mile. You know, this is interesting. When John O'Snaith gets himself behind something, it really works. And this is for the Cape Town, the University of Cape Town RAG. So they get all these young people. The theme this year is...
Magnum.
No, it's Scott Fitzgerald's Great Gatsby, a book that I've read. The Great Gatsby is the theme. And it's, you know, the opulence and the ostentatiousness of the era. And they're hoping to depict that. So put that down in your diary. It's the Magnum Mile.
At Kenilworth.
Kenilworth this week. If you want to get out there amongst the fashion, remember the theme. It's the Great Gatsby, and as I say, when John O'Snaith gets behind it, it's always a success. So that's the press release we got on that as well.
Shall we go and have a look at what the races that we got to look at?
Yeah, let's go and have a look at the races on the Haarveld. And the first one we're going to show you is the 3 Troikas. And the 3 Troikas stake, let's have a look at them. We'll talk about it after the race.
Probably a dozen to find with Close the Gap. Winter Stars towards the rear for the lads. Into the home straight in the 3 Troika Stakes. Samba Serenade has gone a good clip the whole way. Leads by 3 from Olive Leaf. Sarasota being urged to get closer now. Then Julie Doolittle under the stick. Athena trying to improve towards the back. From the back rather, Chetri Pink. Close the Gap. 300 to go. Samba Serenade the leader by a length and a quarter from Olive Leaf. Athena is moving home strongly down the inside. Close the Gap. Sarasota. Winter Star. Athena comes to strike the front, and the 3 Troikas on the outside is Close the Gap. Athena. Kings V's flying down the inside. Athena has won it from Close the Gap. Then came Kings V. Winter Star is back and forth. Sarasota, Chetri Pink.
There we go, the unsung hero, Joe Soma. He's got this for Mary Slack. Always been a decent horse.
Yeah, I think Joe Soma has only got one horse for Mary, and this is it. And it's really impressive the way he's prepared this filly for the right races. As a 2-year-old, he thought that she was very good. She was touched off in a couple of.
She ran
Group
5th
one.
in the Group 1 here, ran a very good race behind. Along came Polly by Fortwood.
He's brought her back, and she might be the way she quickened up, she might end up being able to go for the Triple Crown.
Yeah, they were just I heard Sean being interviewed and said it seems to be a best trip this at the moment. But well done to Mary, well done to Joe, well done to Sean, well done to the whole team. That is the 3 Troika Stakes. The next one is the Tony Ruffles Stakes that came through later. Let's have a look at that.
From start to finish, maintain his unbeaten record. He leads by 2 lengths. Mr. Mulliner in second, Mikado being roused along back in third. Then Hillbrow, Booklet toppers towards the back end, got 5 to make up with Bezanova. Into the home stretch now, Chikili is the leader from Mr. Mulliner as they come down to the 400. Booklet top is moving up swiftly outside of runners. Then comes Hillbrow. Behind that, Mikado is at the back end of the field now. Booklet top, Mr. Mulliner have taken on Chikili, but Mr. Mulliner is gone 2 lengths clear now. On the outside, Booklet top is running on strongly. Mr. Mulliner has got the lead from Booklet top, who's lunging at the line, and Booklet top will get up to win it. Another winner for Fulgerbos Drift from Mr. Mulliner in second. Third placing will go to Chikili.
Well, there we go, and this is an imported horse, just having a look at it. Booklet top, Argentinian by Giants Causeway, and Fulgerbos Drift striking again.
I think this is a very nice horse. I think that I think the field, lacked numbers, but was very classy. Mikado has shown that he's very good. He ran no type of race. Chikeli
Was unbeaten.
as unbeaten went into this race. Mr. Mulliner has shown that he's there or thereabouts, but he's off a 78 merit rating. He's not the right horse. But Chikeli and Booklet top could be very nice horses.
Yeah, very good run by Mr. Mulliner for Gary Alexander, but well done, a wonderful day for Marion of Fulgerbos.
Well, won the 2 feature races, and that's just fantastic.
The interesting rider, James, Mr. Kamalo.
Yeah, Kamalo, he rode his 100th winner at Clarewood yesterday.
Yeah, he's having a great time.
Samanga.
Again. Strong rider, and he's doing well. Well done to Samanga.
Chasing the championship, and let me tell you, I would think he's odds on to win the championship.
Odds on?
This year. Yeah,
Ooh,
odds on.
Ooh.
Yeah,
No
one going to catch him because the best rider in South Africa is in Dubai at the moment.
Stratham gone to Dubai as well?
No, he hasn't.
Oh, okay, I just thought I'd check.
I said the best rider in South Africa. Not the best jockey in South Africa, the best rider.
Okay, big difference. There we go, James and his nuances. But well done to Samanga Kumalo, and a very, very good one. It's about time for a break. Let's go for a break. Right, welcome back to Current Affairs. And James and I have got a few more things to talk about. And James, just before we talk about them, an interesting point that you brought to me, and the figures you mentioned were outrageously high. Gay Waterhouse.
Yeah, Gay Waterhouse has been served an eviction notice out of the English stables in Sydney. And the reason being, it was very interesting, I've got to read it here. She should buy more yearlings at Inglis, okay?
Yeah, tell the public you got Inglis and Magic Millions.
Yeah, well, they got Inglis and Magic Millions. And what happened was that she bought $10 million worth of yearlings at Magic Millions, where we're all involved in.
Yeah.
And, you're going next week, I think, to Magic Millions.
Perth.
They got the Perth sale, big Perth sale. And then, obviously, the June sales, where we all go and try and buy some weanlings. And every week, there are winners out of those sales. But so she wrote back to them and said to them, funny about that, because I've spent $117 million with you over the last 20 years with Inglis.
That's one organization.
Okay? Yeah, and you've earned $7.5 million in commissions, and now you want to evict me out of my stables. Well, this is ongoing. This is hot off the press, so it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens from here.
So they want to turf out of her boxes because she's buying with the opposition. There we go. People's nose out of joint. But let's move on, James. And arguably, Natal's biggest owner, Roy Moodley, had his 60th yesterday. Are there any bigger than him in Natal?
Who cares? At the end of the day, He's
boy.
a huge owner, okay, and he's a
Massive.
huge supporter, and everyone who was anyone, including you, went to the 60th.
Absolutely. I'll just touch on it quickly. Well done, Roy, and a great speech.
Yeah,
by
congratulations.
Yeah,
on his
congratulations.
60th
60 years and
birthday.
going strong. And he had the president there, Jacob Zuma. We had King Goodall's Velatini, Phil Giorgio.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a
Okay.
few.
Well, it shows you had the right people. That's, listen.
Great
it was
comedians,
in
James. Great
August,
comedians.
August crowd of people. Anyway, a couple of other things about fillies. Groupie Doll was sold for $3.1 million last year. She won her last race at Gulfstream Group 3, and she's going to tap it. And
Yeah,
it's
very,
nice to see
very
her
good
win.
sprinting filly.
Champion. She won 2 Eclipse
James,
Awards.
amazing again. We're just touching on fillies being so good worldwide with the black caviars and Zenyatas, just in this country, the Igugus and Via Africas and the others. The colts are being taken on much more by the fillies, and the fillies are coming through with great results.
I remember the Arc de Triomphe was won by Ale France. She was like the first filly to really go in there and
Her
take
and
them on.
Dahlia.
And then they won 4 out of the next 5. Dahlia, there was a whole bunch of them, that came out there and won the Arc de Triomphe, and it was like the domain of the colts. But
Yes.
fillies you get a genuine filly.
Well, look at the Arc. The Arc's still very synonymous with the fairest sex winning it, and all over the world they're useful. We nearly had a filly win the Vodacom Durban July last year.
Yeah, well, let's just talking about fillies. The anti-post favourite for the 1,000 guineas was a filly called Chrysalim.
Yes.
And she died of complications from a hoof abscess. Now, this just illustrates to you how fragile these animals are.
Yeah.
She just turned 3. She was a champion 2-year-old of a European champion 2-year-old. Willie Carson actually owned a share in her.
Was it Charlie Hills? No.
Charlie Hills, yeah.
That's right, yes.
Charlie Hills.
Oh, that's a severe blow.
Terrible thing.
But just,
from a
you're right,
hoof
how
abscess,
fragile. You're right, James, you say how fragile. The horses are like strawberries, they spoil overnight. You never know what's happening, and you've got to feel sorry for them. So that's a serious blow.
Yeah. All right, well, I think we got all our ducks in the line. We can
we've
go
got
chat to
everything,
Mike de Kock.
Yeah, let's see what Mark's got to say.
Let's go and see what Mike's got to say about Dubai this week.
The starter has the butt, pushes it, right approach, brought up 1,000 metres, but Grand Emporium in front, too good. Asiatic Boy wins the UAE Triple Crown. It's unclassic, it's another one for South Africa. Musa takes the lead from Rayhana. Soft falling rain has won the Godolphin Mile. Shay takes the lead. Shay wins the Elgoz sprint. It's Victory Moon. Comes again. Victory Moon. Ippy Tombi takes the lead and wins 2 seconds for the Dubai Duty Free. Ippy Tombi the winner.
Hello, Mike. Nice to have you on. Can you hear me? Excellent. Nice to have you with us today. It's a hell of a day because you've just done the entries for the big race meeting on Thursday, and I see you got a lot of entries.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of James, and you have some pretty good races.
Now, firstly, before we go, you had 3 seconds on Thursday. It looked like they all ran very well.
Yeah, they ran well, but, especially in some of those features, you're taking a knife to a gunfight, and they bring fillies with European form like the filly that won the Guineas. You've got absolutely no chance of beating them. We did very well to run second to them, yeah.
And then the other race, the staying racer, seemed like they went an absolute crawl, which certainly couldn't have suited you.
Crawled round, I think he gave 10 or 11 pounds to the winner. So again, a really good result. I mean, he's 7, the winner's 4. Winners on the up, we virtually in our place. So, yeah, James, they run well. No one can complain.
Well, at least you now got the champion front-running jockey from South Africa arrived in town. How's it been with young Marcus?
No, even Rams Bottom have been having some really good bonding sessions. So we're having a bit of fun.
But what happened if there ends up a problem? They haven't got their help there.
They haven't got their help, you say? Or
Yeah.
help in what form? Is that in the form of a couch and someone to listen to them? Or
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. Lafferty.
They've got us to help them through their problems.
Mark, it's Laf here. Good to hear from you. So everything going well. And how, you're right there, how's the horse of the year doing?
No, he's doing extremely well. I mean, it wouldn't be the strongest of fields on earth. He's not subject to his Group 1 penalty. So, again, you've always got the question mark of the surface.
Yeah.
And I think it's more tactics than it is surface sometimes with that track. And with the way he runs, it should suit him. But there's always that question mark, But certainly he's been training very well on it.
Mike, you got, just going through the entries, you got Sanchawiz entered in the first 3 races. He was a bit disappointing first time out, but do you think probably need a bit further?
He needs further. He actually ran well, James. After he hadn't run that horse since about February of last year, so he was almost off the track for a year, and he was a horse that had huge problems in his time. I don't know if I run him in the 1.5 mile or if I'm running in the 10 furlong all weather, but I think wherever he runs, he's going to be right there.
All right, and the Daily News winner,
Vercingetorix, yeah. You look, I'm a little bit behind with him. He didn't travel well. We need to get going with him. He's got a reasonable rating, and that's why I'm running him. And ideally, I would have loved to have run him over a little shorter first up, but listen, it's unfortunately the Carnival one makes his decisions. But in the last week, I've seen a big change in him, and he's come on. So I expect him to run very well, although he's not near as well as I'd really like to have him.
Mars and Gale Force 10, they're stepping out?
Yeah, Mars probably runs at Variety Club. Gale Force 10, I'm tempted to run on the turf over 9 furlongs. He seems to show me that he wants a bit further.
And then obviously the UAE Guineas, which you've been successful in before. You got the 2 South Africans, Full Combat Journeyman.
Yeah, they're doing very well. Journeyman was last week only got going late, to run 5th in the 7 furlong. It's a bit short for him. Full Combat's doing very, very well. I've got to lean towards my strongest of my 3 being Wednon, although I only rated 85. He's only had 1 run. He's a smart Northern Hemisphere horse, Dubawi colt. He looks like he'll be all right.
So will Simeon ride him?
Simeon will ride him. Yeah, provided he doesn't have too many prawns tonight.
And what about that? What about that poor fish, Richard Hughes? Have you got a bit of cash off him on the golf course?
I haven't actually been able to get my claws into Hughes. He's escaped me, but I haven't let the Parkies escape me. We've given him a tickling up.
Poor little Johnny, running around getting things for you. Is he ready to leave? Surely he must be tired by now, and his weight's down.
Well, I've got to have someone to do the washing, James. She's pretty good at waking me up and getting the washing done and whatever. So he's got a purpose to serve, yeah.
As he improved with his tea making, he was never very good when he was with Shaw.
It has improved, you're right. It's one thing Patrick did teach him to do.
Mike, you have a great week, and we're all watching you from here. We're hoping for the best for you guys, and thanks so much again for chatting to us. We hope to chat to you next week.
Cheers, Goody. Thanks very much. Pleasure.
There we are, Mike de Kock on the phone, and fantastic to have him again. And I think that we could have a very good week with some of our South African horses there.
Yeah, I think we're ready for a big fire. I hope the horse of the year, Variety Club, takes to the surface because he's very, very good miler.
And we can't wait for Thursday night at Maidan. We'll be back.
The butt pushes it. Right approach brought up 1,000 metres. But Grand Emporium in front, too good. Asiatic Boy wins the UAE Triple Crown.
Look at that.
It's unclassic. It's another one for South Africa. Musa takes the lead from Rayhana. Soft falling rain has won the Godolphin Mile. Shay takes the lead. Shay wins the Elgos Sprint. It's Victory Moon. Back comes again. Victory Moon. Ipe Tombe takes the lead and wins 2 seconds for the Dubai Duty Free. Ipe Tombe the winner.
Well, we're going to go and have a look at one of the great successes at Dubai. We're going to go and look at the Godolphin Mile.
Yeah, great to go look at that. Interesting to see it. But how many countries can have their champion trainer phone and tell the country how their horse is going to do? Do you think it's done anywhere else in the world, James?
We just are so privileged.
We are so lucky to have a man like Michael de Kock who dishes it out for all of us. And it's, I think the rest of the world can take a leaf out of our book.
Yeah, well, thanks to Mike again for that interview. But let's go and see what happens if you want to get close to the action to Dubai, because this is the Let's Go Travel segment, and I was chatting to Phil yesterday, getting full.
Yeah, it's
There are not many places left in the
people
Sing.
are going, well, they're realising the horse of the year is going to be there. Michael's starting to fire. It's just a wonderful week's racing, and anyone who loves racing
I hear Marcus and Ingrid Euster and the team are going across.
Well, they would all be going across. You know, that's why I want a big run from the horse of the year on Thursday to make it good, because him and his friends and everyone involved with the horse, wonderful. They should be there.
Excellent. Let's go and have a look at the Godolphin Mile.
Soft falling rain, the 3-year-old is coming at hard thick. He's picking him up with every stride. Soft falling rain alongside hard thick. He puts his head in front. Soft falling rain is drawing clear. Soft falling rain has won the Godolphin Mile. Gates fly and they're racing in the Godolphin Mile. Little Jim, Athenaeus and Kaneko all slow to move. Burnt Ember left the machine quickly. Caius began well, so did Emerald Beauty, and so did Grand Emporium. Sagani is driving up along the fence at the end of the first 220 metres, and Sagani goes to the lead. Grand Emporium settles second. Kaneko from Turkey moves to third, and Caius fourth. 3/4 of a length away, Emerald Beauty, followed by Cherry Pickings, Keltos on the rail, Burnt Ember and Athenaeus between runners. A length away is Little Jim travelling deep on the outside of Opportunist, and Martillo hugging the fence had dropped back to the rear of a compact field as they went past the 1,000 metres mark. Sagani the leader by a long neck. Grand Emporium second. Kaneko a length and a half away third. Caius fourth on the heels of the speed. Emerald Beauty fifth. Little Jim is wide, making ground on the outside of Cherry Pickings. Then Athenaeus hard ridden, Opportunist deep, Keltos the rail. Burnt Ember second last, and Martillo whipped them in as they came around the turn and past the 600 metres mark in the Godolphin Mile. Tisgani away from the fence. Caius goes up on the inside. Grand Emporium the outside. Little Jim joining in, making a line of 4. A length away then Emerald Beauty, followed by Burnt Ember and Cherry Pickings coming down the outside. Grand Emporium put his head in front, and with 250 metres to run, Grand Emporium strode away. He's a length in front of Caius on the rail. They're clear of Sagani. It's Grand Emporium in front, short of 100 metres left to go. Caius trying to go with him, but Grand Emporium in front, too good. Grand Emporium won the Godolphin Mile, a length and a half. Caius second, Sagani third, then Burnt Ember, Little Jim, Emerald Beauty and Kaneko, followed by Cherry Pickings, Opportunist, Martillo, Athenaeus and Keltos came in at the tail.
A wonderful product for South Africa, and a wonderful start to the meeting.
You're always there on the plate?
Yeah, that's the way he runs, you know. He's kicked nicely. He's done everything we've asked. Great team effort.
Your favourite today to be leading jockey of today. This is a good start. But the rest of your ride?
I'd probably say that right approach is the next best of my rides. So next of them's got chances, which keeps trying.
Well done to the Cock team. Well done.
Thank you.
Soft falling rain, the 3-year-old is coming at hard thick. He's picking him up with every stride. Soft falling rain alongside hard thick. He puts his head in front. Soft falling rain is drawing clear. Soft falling rain has won the Godolphin Mile.
Hi and welcome to Your Call. It gives me great pleasure to talk to my mate Craig Peters. We've been friends for 3 decades and you all know him as the voice of racing. And Craig, thanks for joining me.
Only a pleasure, Paul. Thanks for having me on the show.
It's good that we let people remember you, and I was just talking to you earlier how we met many, many years ago, and I was just before I went to go work in America in a state. We had a party and you were there with a thick mop of hair.
And it wasn't a toupee either. It shows you what 36 of marriage years does to one.
You've been married 36 years.
36 years, yeah.
You've got a son and a daughter.
I've got Sheldon, 35. On her anniversary is born. My Angelique's born on the 14th of
straight into the pit.
Straight into it. And then my youngest daughter, Decita, youngest, 30. So I've got 3
time
years.
flies, so you're doing well. And let's talk about the beginning, Craig. I think you were rushed off to Bloemfontein early in your career. You just started.
Well, what happened was 71, in the early 70s, Elevation won the Holiday Inns 3 years in a row. We weren't allowed on track. I stood next to Bill Collins. Bill Collins did the 2 years of the commentary, and Elevation beat Mazrin and Pedler, and then came out and beat Yattigan and Castaway. And the 3rd year, Garth Puller rode it when it beat Queen of All, of Freddie Chappelle and McCurdy. And then 1974, 75.
Well, Craig, why weren't you allowed on the course?
Kids weren't allowed on track that time.
No, anywhere on the course?
Nowhere on the track. And I was allowed up by Sandy Christie. He was the CEO of Turfentine Racecourse, Sandy Christie. And I stood right next to Bill Collins, and the man used to smoke. Yeah. And he had his own microphone stand with a pole. They used to stand and commentate. We sit and commentate.
Yes, that's right.
He used a 12 by 50 by Knox at Turfentine. I mean, Joburg, South African commentating, England commentating, very difficult race courses. America, it's small tracks. Yeah. You don't need a huge binoculars.
What size are yours? What strength?
I've now got a 16 by 50.
16
by 50. And Sheldon uses my old binocs, the 15 by 60s us. I gave that one to him.
Craig, what was Bill Collins like?
Brilliant. Brilliant. He gave me a record of the 1972 Melbourne Cup, 28 horses, Piping Lane won it. Then when I stood next to him, he would tell me, don't ever stutter, if you can't pick up a horse, like Ernie Duffield used to do. Ernie Duffield used to say, one on the out, I'll pick it up in a moment. He didn't believe in filling in that way. Yes. He said, rather say the horse in the green sleeves and this and then it'll come to you. You know, a cap will be shown.
Sort of barb at a time.
That's it. He said, never come back to a horse, you know. And he never ever stuttered, the man. He never became, he was top class. And
now, Craig, how old were you at that time?
I was 16 at the time. 15. Do
you come from a racing family?
Not at all. My mom and dad used to go to the race courses every meeting as punters. You know, at that time, totes used to close at 12 o'clock.
Yeah. And
everyone used to travel to the race course. I mean, you couldn't get a seat in the grandstand at the Vaal, Newmarket, Turfentine or Gosforth Park, Germiston. Fantastic. It was really, really top.
Craig, before I come back to you, let's take our usual break with another race coming through. Yeah, we're back with Craig Peters, just getting a feel of his start. And you grew up, we're talking about near Turfentine or?
I was in Mayfair, one of the rough places in Johannesburg. And it's where all the Lebanese guys were. And
the
Khayas, yeah. I'm Lebanese as well.
So can you fight? You used to be a boxing man.
I've done boxing commentaries, I've done show jumping, I've done all the commentaries. No, there was gang fights. There was a lot of fights going on at the time.
Is that where the marks came from?
Yeah, well, that's when they used to pull my hair. It all disappeared. No, but we lived near the Blue Dam. I mean, it was a good mixture. We went to Mayfair High School. I used to support Rangers Football Club. That was their home ground,
right.
Rangers Football Club. Same colours as Newcastle, the black and white stripes. Yeah. The Archie Suku and those boys, the Highlands Park.
Desi Beckos.
Those guys. Desi Beckos actually used to pencil for a bookmaker. I think it was Les Curry on the tracks in Joburg at the time. That time there was plenty of bookmakers on track. The courses were packed. It was a really good.
Just talking about the Lebanese people and an incredible passion for horse racing. A bellicose nation, but they love their racing. They get really involved, don't they?
Bellicosity. That's what ran yesterday. Yeah. Yes. No, you're right. They love their gambling. They enjoy it. They'll support you fully. Yeah. And if they back you up, they're with you all the way.
All the way.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you come to a Lebanese house on a Sunday, you can eat the whole day. It's laid out. Kibbeh, Lebanese bread, whatever you want, it's there. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Is your wife Lebanese?
No, my wife's not Lebanese.
Not Lebanese.
She's South African, yeah.
So you've you got the 2 children, and they're half Lebanese.
Half,
yeah.
or the 3 children, yeah. Half.
That's sorry,
yeah,
3 children. Yeah.
Yeah.
The youngest is 30.
Yeah, the youngest is 30.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Now, you obviously you were passionate about it. You wanted to call races,
Yes.
and you've been up there in the box and saw that. Who did you approach, Mr. Christie?
What happened, I used to call tapes into the tape recorder. I used to commentate at Turfentine, and the first year that I called the whole card into a tape recorder was 76, when Black Bishop, my uncle, owned. That won the South African Derby by Prince Sayer. The favourite was the Molster of JBK Cooper.
Yes, yes.
And Sandy Christie came up. Peter Duffield, Wolfie Wolford and Francois Wolford were the 3 commentators at the time. And Sandy Christie came and said, "Who are you?" You know what I mean? You stood here when Bill Collins called the early, and then I disappeared, you know what I mean? And I said to him, I'd like to call some races. He took it back to, it was Wally Siegel, Eric Schultz, Jack Patience. They ran the other 3 tracks. They came back to me like 2 weeks later, said, "Right, you're off to Bloemfontein to call the whole card." I'd never called live over a microphone. I went to Bloemfontein.
Well, you drove down?
No, they flew me in on the 8-seater, the 8 or 10-seater from the Rand Airport at the time. We arrived at the race course. There was no umbrellas. You stand with a microphone stand, you strap your binoculars. On sand, they had no rails, and I called the whole card. And the first ever live broadcast of the Citizen. That was in 77, 78. You don't believe the trembles that I had. You can't, I mean, nerves. You can't believe that.
Did it get better later on in the card, or are you still uptight?
No. It took about 6-8 months. So you don't just settle in. You know, when you look out, sort of when you were going to Gosforth Park, Turfentine, Newmarket Vaal, looking down on the crowds, there was thousands of people there, and then the echo of the microphone, the speakers is coming back to you. You know, it's not easy.
It's not easy.
And the first ever race I called back from Bloem was Big Swinger of Graham Beck, and it was trained by the late Michael Roberts, the trainer. And the horse won by 10 lengths under Martin Skuman. I said, well, there's nothing to it, because they turned for home and I was calling and it just went away. I said, well, there's nothing to it. Oh, I learned a lot after that.
People don't realise you're a great friend of Trevor Denman's as well. You worked with him. When horses go down to start, I remember telling me, you watch them go down, you can see them with their silks and you're memorising, they go down, and suddenly they're coming back at you. There's a horse's head in a cap. And you've got to know draws, you've got to know everything, don't you?
You've got to know from the betting to what gets left at the start, what goes to the front. Nosebands can sometimes distinguish. Yesterday, for example, in the last race, there was Rat Kirani, there was Lad Dig, and there was another horse that all had orange socks. Now, Rat Kirani had 4 white socks. The other horse, Rat Kirani got left at the start. You know?
That's right.
And then Roy Moodley had a horse about a month ago at Scottsville. He's got the orange cap, and they went and put a red cap on the other one. So, 1,200 meters up the straight. So you say, well, the one's got, let's say, a white spot, a noseband, or it's a chestnut, or it's a bay, or it's drawn this way. So you've got to be awake from the word go.
So you do your homework. As much as a form studier wants to have a bet, you have to do your homework. You have to know all these little factors you've just mentioned. Well, do you have a bet?
I do have bets. I like buy pots, but I try and have my buy pots when it's non-Natal racing.
Okay.
I love buy pots. I remember
it's a good met.
The buy pot was at the Vaal maybe 30, 35 years ago.
That's right.
It was and then there was the Quinn pot, I think, in Cape Town. And I used to catch buy pots at the Vaal. Because that was the only track of the 4 that had the buy pot.
Yes.
But I don't like the place accumulator. Sure, it's good, but the buy pot will pay at least. I believe.
Yeah. So that's very, very interesting. Now, I remember they had a situation where Trevor was headhunted to go overseas, and they brought you down, and you and Eric commentated. You were still very, very young. That was 30 years ago.
I moved here in 1982.
82. 32 years ago.
I joined Trevor in the May, and that year was the year Tecklenburg won the July. I went behind the drill hall, and
that's right.
We used to call behind the drill hall. Every race behind the drill hall, from 1600 up, one of the commentators, or at the time it was myself, to go and stand there behind the big tower, and they used to cross for 15 seconds and say, Trevor would say, we're going over, and then I'd call for like 10, 15 seconds and back to him.
Yeah, that used to be the drill hall here. Were you around when Scottsville had the dip at the back stretch?
No, I wasn't. That's when the Molster got left at many lengths under Lester Piggott. No, I started after that.
You started after
that. But you see, because there was no TVs at the time behind the drill hall, in later years, one of the general managers suggested we'll put a TV then a commentator doesn't have to travel to behind the tower, the drill hall.
Let's go across for a moment from our sponsors. Here are the successful Magic Millions graduates in the last week. Simply Uncanny and Mythical Palace, both from our sponsors, Magic Millions. There they are. Right, we're back with Craig Peters, thoroughly enjoying a little bit of history, and a man who knows his racing as well as anybody. So now you've come down to Durban, it's a new start for you. You're this mop-head young Lebanese boxer who's come down. Do you remember the tower at Clearwood? Was that
No,
there?
that was after me.
Was that after you?
When I came up, we were already in the grandstand,
Okay.
up in this big commentary box. The commentary box at Clearwood had no glass or window at the time. We used to have the birds sitting and
dropping.
Yes, and the wind. I remember Trevor used to wear the cap.
That's right.
And the gloves. It used to blow a howling tailwind or headwind.
Yeah.
And then eventually in the 90s, they stuck a window up there. And then they had realized, how are they going to clean this window? And the guy today straps himself and he goes out and
He
cleans
abseils.
the window. Yeah. He cleans the commentary box
And
window.
now, just to talk about the commentary boxes at the moment, I'm just going to deviate slightly. What are they like, the commentary boxes?
Gravel, fantastic. You just about on the line. Clearwood, fantastic. Just about on the line. Scottsville, you're much lower and you're off the line.
Yes.
And it's, in particular, inside track. You'll see a lot of the times that Scottsville would say, I wouldn't like to split there. It looks like the horse on the inside wins a neck, the outside horse wins it.
Yeah,
We're
I've
getting
seen
used
that.
to that, but
I've
it's
seen that
very
as well.
tough at Scottsville.
It's very tough to call it. I've noticed that. Have you travelled around commentating thoroughbred racing?
Well, I mean, just in South Africa, yes. I went to the Dubai World Cup and asked Terry Spargo, can I call on the big night? He said no.
Yeah.
And when he comes here, they bend over backwards for him. They let him call here. In Dubai and Hong Kong and Singapore, when I went there, I asked, they wouldn't let me call there. Well, they didn't know me.
Were you looking for the big night or for...
No. I went on a tour with Jimmy Lithgow back in the 90s to Singapore and Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I asked, can I call a race there? And they obviously didn't know us. You know, we weren't going international at the time.
Nowadays, the world's a small place. They would know you and your son.
Well, Sheldon's called at Lingfield.
Yeah,
Sheldon went there, he called Lingfield. They wanted to take him back there again.
That's wonderful. That's how you get a gap. Trevor Denman started
Sure.
like that. He got a gap. He called a race and they thought they liked
Well,
him.
Trevor was different class. Him, Bill Collins, different class.
Yeah.
But Trevor, when he came back and he called the Schweppes back in when Fool's Home won, you remember his Ring Up
Yes.
the Register.
Yeah, that's right.
And Mazeppa and those horses. He found it extremely difficult coming back from those small tracks back to South African racing.
Yeah.
And he admitted it.
Do you know where that saying came from, Ring Up the Register? I remember Trevor telling me that he caught a taxi cab in New York and the guy said to him, what do you do for a living? He said, I'm in racing. He said, oh, I saw the Derby horse coming. I said, ring up the register. This is going to win. You know, that's where that saying came from. He was telling me. Do you have any particular sayings you like to throw in, Craig?
You know what happened, Paul? I started from Joburg. I bought Roger Sticiora's book. And it's got, like, if you put a word like stunning or
Yes.
running, they give you
synonyms.
100 of them.
Yes.
And then I started putting terms together. I made up a file, which I've still got today. I handed it over to Sheldon as well. Like I used breathing fire when a delectable day came through. Looks every inch a racehorse.
Yeah.
Like I'd look up inch and I'd see a top class horse.
Yeah.
And then traveling like a winner. I heard it from overseas and I put it in there. I don't use every term, but I've got thousands of them. You know, sprinting. We all used to say, and away they go, away they go. Bill Collins used to say racing.
Yeah.
I brought out dispatch, set them free.
That's research. That's
You
research.
have to.
Going out there, you got to have that. Everyone's unique, and you sort of make your mark of. As you're right. I remember there was a commentator in America. If they're coming towards us, here they come. If they're going away, there they go.
Okay.
Down the stretch they come. They all have their sayings. Sheldon got in early with the big one with National Currency. The horse with the movie star looks.
The horse with the movie star looks, that's correct.
And that just stuck, you know. Someone called, I think it might have been one of the Joburg boys, Galloping Gold Mine.
That was Clyde, Empress Club.
Was that Clyde?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Empress Club.
So
Yeah.
that helps, you know. When,
It sticks with the good ones.
it does stick with the good ones.
Yeah.
Many faux pas over the years?
What do you mean?
Like mistakes over the years?
Plenty. Everybody.
Yeah, I know,
Everybody
I know.
makes mistakes. I don't care who you are.
Any that you've said, sure.
You know what happens? The Eagle Eye came about from Roy Parker. He used to sit next to us and do betting. And what happened was, in a photo finish, never got it wrong for over a year.
Yes.
Or picking a horse out early with a raise of a voice. You know,
Yes.
that's where at those times there was no television or teletrack or anything. The guys used to stand next to the speakers of the bookmaker. and they listen to the commentary on track.
Yeah.
And you'd say this, and here comes politician, and the crowd would erupt with you, which was fantastic in Joburg as well as here. And then Roy Parker just started crossing over, saying, over to the Eagle Eye. Didn't get it wrong in a finish for a year, and then one Gold Cup day, I got 2 races in a row wrong in a finish. So it just goes to show how it
happens
goes.
to all of us. Happens to.
Yeah.
I remember talking about commentators. I sat with Mike Cattermole. What's the Aussie guy who's in England now? I forget, he writes for the Telegraph, one of the major commentators, and they were talking about faux pas and mistakes. And the classic one was, before David Raphael started in Hong Kong, there was an old guy who worked up there. One day he went down, he'd like to have a little Sharpie near the end of the meeting, and he was watching, they were telling me the story, and his mate said to him, aren't you calling the last race? He said, no, the meeting's finished. He said, they're going in.
Yeah.
And no lift, this old guy ran all the way up, and he got to the box, he couldn't breathe, and they started racing, and not a sound, all the way around. And the guy had sent him up, said, I wonder what's going on here, why isn't he calling? He must be in the box, but this guy couldn't get his breath back. And about 200 meters to go, he started getting his breath back. He said, oh, the mark's back on. Back on, yeah.
Well, I recall Francois Wolfart.
Yes.
Francois Wolfart was in the press room at the Val, and I called the horses going down to the start, and I waited, and they started going in. There was a horse in a club blue and a horse in a club black, and I didn't know who they were. He hadn't arrived. So I switched the mic on, Val, 1800, started calling them, and in between he ran up, and I switched the mic, I said, I don't know what's in the club blue, and he found out what it was. And then I'll never forget it, there was a dust storm at Gosforth Park, the mine dumps.
Yeah.
And Francois was calling a race, and we're sitting in the commentary box, and you couldn't see any, just dust.
Yeah.
And he was calling the politician in front, and here's Mazrin, da 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 da. And 200 meters to go, they appeared, here, and it's changed dramatically. Because he was talking utter nonsense, you know what I mean?
Usher.
But he was all the usher, yeah. No, but the worst thing happens if you choke in a commentary, because what happens, think about it, if you choke, you try not to cough.
Yes.
So what happens? You do choke.
Yeah.
It's like going to church. They tell you, do not laugh. Your parents is like it. What happens? It's quiet and you start laughing.
Yeah.
And you've got to clear your throat. But now I've learned the trick. If you ever choke, switch the mic off, clear your throat, put it back on.
Yeah,
hopefully it doesn't come over the air.
That's from experience, eh?
Well, yeah, from experience. But Bill, guys like Bill Collins, I mean, he gave all his tricks away.
Yeah,
He would tell you,
good.
He would say, isn't it like Shane Warne in cricket? I saw a program, he was telling everybody exactly how to spin the ball, what he does, what he thinks. The problem is, nobody's going to be as good as him.
Yeah,
Shane Warne. You know
that's it. Listen, you've got to have that transparency. You've got to be out there. It helps the game. Everything you've learned, you've given to your son.
100%.
And look at him. He's making wonderful inroads as a presenter, as a commentator, and he's thoroughly enjoying it.
Well, you know, he's years ahead of his time, because when I was there, guys like Peter Duffield, Wolfie Wolfert, Francois Wolfert, they kept everything to themselves. Like, you'd have to ask a question. Like, I come along, I tell Sheldon when he started off, he won the amateur commentators competition.
Okay.
That's how he got his break. And I said to him, try this, do that. And then he sent...
Does he listen?
Sometimes, but you know, if he even says to me, you know, you're calling this, because what happens, you're calling from memory. So I could be calling a horse Ted's Ambition, and it's actually Father Ted.
Yeah.
You don't know that until you watch the replay again, because you're calling through a binocular of TV. You can't say, and politicians in front, hold on, here's this 1 second.
Yeah.
Straight in, and you call it from there.
You know what I find as a presenter, which must be troubling for you, is that you look at a horse and it's spelled slanty or something, and it's pronounced slanger, or crake is the crack, you know, crack. Now, you get out there, you're in a no-win situation, because if you call it the crack, and people say it's crake, you're listening. It's like Southwell and Southwell. What do? You find out how a horse's name is pronounced, you go from there. Yeah,
what I do is I either try the breeder, and if I can't get hold of him, I go to the trainer. Like yesterday, there was Fee, Fee.
Yeah.
But then there's the lady's name, Faye, as well.
Yeah, correct.
So I've asked Sheldon to query it, and he said it's called Fee. P-O-I-V-R-E.
Yeah.
It looks like it's
Pav. It's a French word, yeah.
It's Pav. You know, those difficult ones. I mean, we've had...
Bit of research and you get...
Oh, you've got to. You've got to. You know, I come there, we try and be as professional as we can. You know, we've got to know the merit rating, the handicapping system, what's favourite, what gets left, what's the colours.
What changes
You've got to know everything. Yeah. You've got to sort of be an all-rounder. Yeah. It's true. You can't just get to the track and say, I'm going to read it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You've got to do your
because everybody's there to criticise you.
And Craig, you've been doing some auctioneering as well. Is one of you enjoy one of your things that you enjoy?
I used to auction with Chris Smith, Bloodstock. I used to do for Chris Smith. I've done auctions all my life, not necessarily all horse auctions. I do for art, for whatever, racing evenings, whatever's going. I've been master of ceremony, guest speaking, boxing commentary, show jumping. I do all the big shows. I'll get flown in, let's say Port Elizabeth, Cape Town, and the locals, because all the whole of South Africa comes to the big ones.
What's your favourite? If you said, listen, they're all going to happen on the same day, you'd go to racing?
I'd go to horse racing. I have to go to horse racing, but that's my first.
Contracted.
And then boxing second. I love boxing.
Yeah, we always did. You and I both love our boxing.
We used to go to Westridge.
Westridge,
I'll tell you a funny
days?
story. I was sitting at Westridge the one evening. Pierre Coetzee fought a mate of mine, Ron Ellis.
Yes.
Remember Pierre Coetzee,
Yes.
the big, thick police moustache?
A bit like yours, but a bit longer.
Yeah, and he had his little hair as me. But what happened, I was sitting Dan's side and Robert Garner was sitting in front of me. I was ringside. There was a chair available. He just had one. He had a cut over his eye. He came, said, hey, Pierre, I didn't know the guy. Pierre, come here. He came, he sat next to me. I was interviewing, talking to him. This oak comes up to him and says to him, in between fights, Pierre, my mates just said to me, if I come over here and challenge you, they'll buy me a crate of beers. He said, go back and tell your mates, if you challenge me, you won't get a chance to drink that crate of beer. and he was a big boy.
I remember those days when you first came here. I remember one day I went with you, Trevor.
We sit on the steps.
Always sat on the steps. There was I saw one of the first Indian boxers, a guy called Bull Muller.
Okay.
And he fought and he was dead nervous. There must have been 30 seconds, not a punch thrown, and Tubby Lucken shouts, break. Yeah. The whole crowd were laughing. He said, it's not a fight, it's an argument.
Well,
remember those days?
Elijah tapped at McAtini, and he was trained by Chin Govender.
That's right.
From Stanger, South. Well, he was, I think, the first or second guy to beat Charlie Ware. Tap. Joseph Ali was the other one.
Chin Govender had a famous saying, nobody can take a punch like Tap can give it.
Well, that's very true. Because Charlie Ware was brilliant, but he couldn't take a punch. The Silver Assassin. Yeah. That's where I actually met Trevor the first time.
Boxing.
He came down to watch Charlie Ware fight Davey Moore, and he came to Gosforth Park, and the boxing tournament was postponed to the Monday. Okay. And he took my details down, and then he got hold of me, and then I came in for the interview here with Mervyn Campion, Basil Thomas, and Gavin Brown.
Best horse you've seen?
In the whole of South Africa?
Yeah,
or the world?
State countrywide.
You know, the best sprint I ever saw was Glory B.
Yeah, great. You won about 9 in a row,
He won 8 or 9 in a row. They had gone 200 metres, he was 4 or 5 lengths in front. It started off with Maya Shefts, Roy Curling rode it, then it moved on to Jules Horowitz, and then it moved on to Bertie Sage for the Fergusons, who used to race in the heliotrope, tangerine sleeves and cap. I'm very good at horses' names and colours, and people's names I forget very quickly.
I know what you mean, Colin.
And Permont got beat by 3 or 4 lengths the week before, or 2 weeks before, under Raymond Rhodes for JF Coetzee. And on the big day, Glory B was winning it was called the Castrol National Sprint.
That's right.
And Permont and Raymond Rhodes, big price, came and nailed him on the line. Yeah.
So he was your favourite sprinter?
Favourite sprinter.
Favourite horse? Mileage, July horse, something like that?
You know, I loved In Full Flight.
Yeah, great horse.
I loved Politician. I loved Elevation, and yet Michael Azzi said that wasn't nearly in the class of Hawaii. And,
there you go.
And Hawaii I used to follow, on the radios only, but I never ever saw him run. And then, of course, the Horse Chestnuts, the Empress Clubs. Those are... Full Zone was brilliant. His first defeat was to Occult in the July.
That's right. And, those are serious horses. In your time, and I'm going back a bit when I say your time, it's obviously a huge period, there were commentaries in Afrikaans.
Wolfie Wolfhard and Francois Wolfhard used to do the Afrikaans commentaries. What they tried to do was I think 1 in Afrikaans, 2 or 3 in English. And then I used to call them going down to the start in Afrikaans. Now, it was hilarious. Because I don't know Afrikaans very well. I understand it.
You battle enough with English.
Afrikaans must be. And then you still got to remember. And I remember Wolfie Wolfhard said, en hulle vat die whatever, is in die pijlvak met 400 meter om te hardloop. And that was difficult enough, man.
Yeah. So they've never asked you to do a full race in Afrikaans?
No, I actually wouldn't. I'm not fluent enough.
No.
You know what I mean? We know the 1, 2, 3, and I do it in Lebanese, you know what I mean? Count in Lebanese.
What's 1, 2, 3 in Lebanese?
I don't even know. But I know all the Lebanese, and I can count in 7 languages, and I know all the Lebanese terms like
Yes.
Harbo, Sabo, but I don't even know the order of them.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know Japanese, Chinese, German, Afrikaans, English, and Lebanese. I've got it, but I don't know in what order they go.
So you still remember, because the Lebanese, I was just talking about earlier in the show, they're passionate and they come out and they scream their chambrel and ukkel and shrog and
But you know,
bimps and
I'll tell you,
misliet.
when we were outside the track at Gosforth Park, Lafoyle and Mayfields were the two horses' names. And Teddy Zaki, Dominic's father, he had the same colours
Yes.
as Grand National, the
That's
gold
right.
with old stripes, blue sleeves. And they crossed the line, and the judge or judges gave a decision, and they used to put the picture up in a little frame of a window, and they had given the wrong decision. And what happened was, that I'll never forget, we sat outside the car park, they put benches on the track, they stopped the whole race meeting. It was called Mayfields and Lafoyle. They
Jeez.
stopped the whole race meeting. And those times there wasn't 1,000 people on track. There was thousands of people on track.
Gee. Craigie, time has slipped past us, but we could talk for hours. We reminiscing as old
100%,
mates do,
yes.
and it's a wonderful. Long may it continue, and you've got the dynasty with Sheldon going on with it, and you're still strong, going to do it for a long time?
Well, you know, this year I equal Ernie Duffield's number of July calls. He did 29. I do 29 this year.
That's fantastic.
So,
eh? So
I'm hoping to break that.
maybe they'll buy you something, Gold Circle?
I'm sure they
A
will.
recliner or a watch.
I'm sure they will.
Craigie, thanks very, very much for coming in.
Thank you very much, Paul.
There we go. Couldn't we talk for a long, long time? There we go. One of the leading commentators in the country. Craig Peters looking for his 29th Vodacom Durban July. That ends your call.